Well, if you were a true fan, then you were out in the elements tonight watching some great football in some horrendous conditions. But if you're not, have no fear. That's what we're for. We've got all the excitement to bring to you on tonight's edition of 13 on Your Sidelines. So I hope you're dry. Get ready for a great show.
13 on Your Sidelines, sponsored by Rant Insurance Group.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Week 8 edition of 13 on Your Sidelines. I'm Jamal Spencer.
And I'm Marcus School Jr. It's hard to believe, but this time next week we'll be talking about the end of the regular season. Love this, by the way. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's introduce us to these esteemed guests.
And of course, the guests are very excited to be here. Joining us in the studio tonight, the cheerleaders from White Cloud High School. And of course, the cheerleaders from Rockford High School.
Speaking of Rockford, we're getting to the Rams off of the top. The rivalry between Rockford and Granville has been decades of disdain.
Now, if you're a Ram, the last thing you want to see is folks dressed in maroon giving you the horns down.
Never.
No, not really. If you're a Bulldog, you're sick and tired of hearing about the little brother chants. Well, the stakes were even higher tonight because the winner gets at least a share of the OK Red Conference title. Now, Granville also hoping to snap a 4-game losing streak against Rockford, and with the rain tonight, that would not be an easy task. First quarter, Rockford keeping things on the ground. Drake Irwin handing it off to number 6. They got a couple of number 6 on that Rockford roster.
Ryan Ahern.
He picks up the first down. Now later, that same drive, Irwin decided to try out the pass game and connects with Blake Lindsley. Takes him from 2nd and 12 to another first down. Got to move those chains. So far on this drive, Irwin has handed it off. He's thrown it. You know what? I think it's time to keep it himself. Rams go up 7-0 just like that, thanks to the touchdown from the senior quarterback. To the second quarter now, Rockford again in the red zone. It gets pitched back to Isaac Poot. Runs it in from about 30 yards, putting his team up 14-0. Looks like Rockford's going to run away with this one. Late in the second quarter, Granville finally looks to answer. Cash Ruff fakes the handoff, finds Braylon Haney in the end zone. Finally gets the Dogs on the board, and that got the crowd a little bit fired up. Granville looking to carry that momentum into the second half. With the score 21-7 Rams, the Dogs trying to close the gap. Ruff handing it off to Jaden Terry. He gets in and make it a 21-13 game. Things looking up for Granville until the point after attempt. Number 4 is gonna ram right through the line and block that kick, leaving the Dogs at 13. Gotta love the Rockford special teams units. Now later, Irwin fakes the handoff and runs it in himself as the Rams would run away with the game. They're going to win it 34-13. We caught up with the head coach after the game to ask him about clinching a share of the OK Red.
Yeah, we did clinch a share, and we're proud of that. This is a extremely tough conference. There's a lot of very good programs, well-coached teams, and so to earn that is special for our guys, and we want to keep working and just stay the course.
Earlier this week, I asked Coach Cummings about the special teams unit for Rockford. I said they're always making plays. Last week, they blocked a punt that went out the back of the end zone. This week, they're blocking an extra point. They've had punt returns for scores, kickoff. They're just a great defensive team, but the special teams are strong too.
Comes down to all 3 phases, right? That's what everyone says. Offense and defense are really important, but the special teams also very important. Rockford's won every single game by an average of 28 points per game this year. They're not slowing down at all.
I know they're ranked 3rd in Division I in the state. I think they're number 1. Honestly, the Rams look like the best team in Division I. They're going to be a nightmare for anybody to face. Well, they are 2 of the most storied programs in West Michigan, and tonight South Christian and Grand Rapids Catholic Central squared off for the OK Gold Conference title for the 2nd year in a row.
Tonight, the Cat played host to the 17th meeting between the Cougars and the Sailors. Third quarter, South Christian on the goal line. Carson Viss fakes the handoff and decides to take the long way in for the short touchdown run. That brings the Sailors within 2. It's 14-12. Fourth quarter, Cougars with the ball, and it's Kellen Russell Dixon who is stumbling, rumbling, tumbling down to the 26-yard line. That's a 19-yard gain. Time to move those chains. Later in the drive, Russell Dixon rewarded for his hard work. He punches it in from the 2. Catholic Central adds to the lead. It's now 21-12. Sailors need a touchdown and a little more to get back into this one, but Carson Viss tries to run but loses the ball, and it's the Cougars who pounce on it. Catholic Central is able to run this one out as Kellen Russell Dixon scurries off for a 10-yard scamper, and that is able to keep the clock moving. Grand Rapids Catholic Central gets revenge from last year's game with the 21-12 victory on this Friday night.
Coach Colster doesn't care how it gets done, and neither does Catholic Central, but they'll win ugly if they have to play ugly, but they can ground and pound with the best of them, so they can really run you down.
Second week in a row handing off to Kellen Russell Dixon in this downpour weather, and I think that's a guy in any type of weather you want to give him the ball, but especially when it's raining like this, Kellen Russell Dixon is a guy who can get the job done.
Absolutely.
East Grand Rapids and Byron Center came into tonight in a three-way tie with Forest Hill Central for first place in the OK White.
But that three-way tie isn't going to last long because the Bulldogs and Pioneers renewed their pleasantries tonight at Waddell Field. Now, the last three meetings in this series have all been one-possession games, so this figured to be a good one. Rough start for both teams. Second and 11 for EGR. Carson Thornton with the swing pass to Ian McKeegan, immediately taken down by Jackson Zylstra. That led to a punt. On the ensuing punt, Thornton boots it deep. Isaac Lee cannot play it off the bounce. It's off his hands. That's a live ball, and the Pioneers recover the rock. Second quarter now, EGR attempting a 31-yard field goal, but Luke Laska gets in there for the block, and that was exactly the spark that Byron Center was looking for, because on the ensuing possession, Landon Tungate gets cooking. Second down from his own 45. Bulldogs call quarterback power. Tungate takes it down the left sideline. That's a big gain. 25-yard run. Byron Center was finally in business. Later in the drive, 4th and 3 from their 10-yard line. They give it to Laska. His physical run moves the chains and keeps the drive alive. His first and goal for the Dogs. Very next play, Tungate with the keeper. Breaks it outside and walks right into the end zone. That's the only touchdown of the game, folks. 2-point conversion was no good. Dogs led 6-zip at the half. They win the game 9-0. Now, early in this game, there was a lot of missed opportunities because the rain was really coming down tonight. We're going to talk about that all night long.
Oh, yeah.
But the passing game could not get going for Byron Center, could not get going for EGR. There were drop snaps, drop plays, and you got to credit both teams for just trying to play through that madness.
I know it was bad weather, but both of these defenses are also really good. So Byron Center has only given up points in the teens pretty much all season except for that loss to Lowell, so they are really good defensively too.
And a big shutout for them tonight.
So we already have one team knocked out of the first place race in the OK White, and if Lowell has their way, it's about to be 2.
Now, the Red Arrows faced off against Forest Hill Central tonight. Our Nate Belt was there for their 40th meeting.
Hey guys, Lowell was in this OK White title hunt before falling to Forest Hills Northern last week, but a win would give them at least an outside shot at sharing the championship, depending on what happens next week. Not a lot of fans there to see this game in the second half. FHC up 23-0. Lowell's Jackson Ricebig keeps it in to score there. Now, here comes FHC on the next drive. Mason McDonald keeping it for the nice game in the next play. He's one of our MVP candidates. JT Hartman, we'll find him here. Sorry, folks, lost in the sauce there for a minute. JT Hartman with the huge run. There he goes. He's gone for 6. And that is a big run. Like I said, one of our MVP candidates. We may hear more from him later. Lowell back in the red zone now, but Ty Hudkins, the Purdue commit, blowing it up at the inside the 1. Nice play. And, folks, we're going to see him again right here. That is why Hudkins is going to be a future Big Ten star. Immediately into the backfield for the tackle for loss. Lowell now. 4th down, they're trying to score. Get back on the board, and the FHC defense comes up big. That's Brady Jaruki breaking up the pass. Fourth quarter now, FHC doing its best Dan Campbell impression. That's a fake field goal to who else? JT Hartman again, and it's 37-6. Last-ditch effort for the Red Arrows. J.J. Matthews is going to find the end zone here with about a minute left in the game, but it is far too little too late. Rangers dominate 37-12.
Ty Hudkins just go all out on Friday nights. He is one heck of a football player, and I can't wait to see him on Saturdays, but enjoying his time on Fridays right now.
Great kid that we got to know a little bit during his recruitment. You know, I think he was committed at one time to Northwestern, opened his recruitment again. Now, like Nate said, he's heading to Purdue. Big Ten guy through and through, and that is a talented Rangers team. Again, a state finalist from a year ago. Quality group one more time. We've got another conference championship game on the line after the break.
Lawton travels to Saugatuck fighting for the first place in the SAC Valley Division.
And tonight, the OK Green gives us Zeeland West at Mona Shores and Reefs Puffer at Zeeland East.
I am Cameron Bradfield, former Creston Polar Bear, former Grand Valley State Laker, former Jacksonville Jaguar, and you're watching 13 on Your Sidelines.